Welcome to the Wake Up to Your Life podcast. I'm your host, Colleen Odegaard. You picked a good one to watch today for sure. We're talking about how you feel about your body and finally making peace with it. Because the truth is, so many of us spend years at war with our bodies. We criticize it, we hide it, we try to change it, we just don't accept it. And we spend a lot of time thinking about that. And all of it takes a real toll on our mental health. Does it not? I know I'm speaking to somebody out there who can. Is it just me? I know it's not just me. No. So today we're talking. Producer Carlene says no for the people in the back. Carlene,
you.
Right? It's everybody.
It's everybody.
Everybody. So today we're talking about what it means to really make peace with your body and why it feels so hard to do that in a world that's telling us we need to look different all the time. So welcome. Our guest today, Ashley Moser. Ashley is a therapist and the owner of Next Steps Counseling and Consulting. For years, she has worked with people with disordered eating, and she has helped lots of people with body image, moving people from shame and struggle toward acceptance and healing. And Ashley, it is just a delight to have you here on the Wake Up to Your Life podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. And what a beautiful introduction. I'm like, wow, that's me.
It is you. The reason I love talking with you is I'm so passionate about the subject because it hurts my heart to see how people, women in particular, and women of all ages, are hurting themselves with this. And I'm passionate about this. And I think you speak to it so well. So I'm delighted for our listeners and viewers to learn from you today. Body dissatisfaction has become so normalized that we don't even question it and don't even notice that we're doing it. And lots of people don't even realize how much time they spend judging themselves, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. It is so normalized in our society. It is so normalized in our upbringing. It's so normalized in our day-to-day lives. I so agree with you. We don't realize how much mental bandwidth and capacity this takes from us. We are spending so much time trying to change who we are, how we look, how we show up in the world, that I think we lose the point and we miss a lot of opportunity to actually feel good about who we are and live a life that feels good to us because we're so in our heads worried about what we look like and what other people see.
You know, it's easy to say, well, just don't worry about it. Right? Just don't worry about what you look like. Oh, just stop it. Oh, you look great. But it's much harder than that to change the narrative in our heads, is it not?
Completely. Most people start realizing and internalizing messages about their bodies as young as age 3 to 5.
3 to 5?
3 to 5.
Whew.
I know. Think about that. So that is why those compliments, those just don't think about it, don't worry about it, you look great, don't land, because we have been spending the majority of our lives since we were as young as able to talk, able to eat, able to see our own reflections in the mirror, wondering, thinking, does how I look match today's standards? Is it good enough? Am I good enough? And so a one-handed compliment, a one-handed don't worry about it isn't enough to reach the decades and years that we've spent in a body wondering, is it okay? Am I okay? Am I good enough?
You're right. And I want to talk about how we undo that because I think most of us know how we got here.
Yes.
Right? We know how we got here. We know what, the beauty business has done to us. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry that is counting on us feeling bad about ourselves to keep making money.
Absolutely.
Right? There's the social media, there's the comparison, there's all of that. These imperfect, these standards that have been placed on us that we know that we cannot reach. And I think, let me ask you this question.
Yes.
I think it can begin with starting to question where those messages are coming from. That to know that we are being held to a standard that is impossible to reach.
Yes, I think that's a huge piece of it. Because if you don't know that, you spend the majority of your life wondering, why am I not matching up? Why am I not meeting these standards? Everyone else can do it. Everyone else makes it look so easy. What's wrong with me? So it's so important to ask yourself the question of, where did these messages come from in the first place? Why is this the standard? And when I don't feel good about myself, is that really about me and how I look? Or is it because I'm not matching up to what's delivered to me, what's packaged, what I'm told I need to look like? That's where a lot of our body image dissatisfaction comes from. The comparison to a standard that we were never supposed to meet in the first place.
That's correct. Knowing it's an impossible standard, doesn't that help loosen it up a little bit?
Sure.
we just can't do that.
Yes.
I don't want this to be the summer that anyone misses out on something. And what I mean by that is, as the weather gets warmer, you're invited to go meet friends at a pool, go on their boat, go to this cookout, and it's going to be hot. And so you've got to wear shorts and maybe show your arms and you're thinking they're flabby. I want to stop that dialogue in women's heads. Or I want them to catch it, notice it, and do something different. Because, I've told you this before, Ashley, that I turned down invitations to events like that in the past because I thought I didn't look good. I thought that, I'm gonna look fat. Oh, I don't want to be in a bathing suit in front of those people. Oh my gosh, they're all so thin and beautiful, and I don't look right, so I don't want to go. And who lost out on that? I did. I didn't get to have the experience of going on my friend's boat and having a good time with people. And when I look back now at pictures of myself at that time, I'm like, I was cute. There was nothing wrong with me. What a complete waste.
That is such a universal experience. We limit ourselves because we believe that how we look matters more than how we are going to feel, or that how we look is going to have such a big impact on how we feel that we shouldn't even go. So many people avoid opportunities that could make their lives feel worth living, fulfilled. The things that we're looking for weight loss to give us are actually right out there in front of us. We don't have to lose weight. We don't have to change our bodies. We don't have to fit this picture-perfect societal ideal in order to live our lives. There's so much life on the other side of this, and I think that's why these conversations are so important, because we don't have to actually do anything. This is actually a call to not change, not to do anything, but just to take that step and live the life that you want to live. Get on the boat, get in the picture, get in the bathing suit. You don't have to wait. You can do it now.
It's an inside job. It's not about changing your body and then you'll be confident. It's about doing stuff and you start to feel confident. You start living your life. And that's what I want people to know. You can love and appreciate and respect your body right now without losing a pound, without getting a skin tightening procedure, without anything happening. You can love your body now. So let's help people start to disentangle and relearn how to accept. If they can't love, at least accept the body they're in and not torture themselves so much. What would be, a piece of advice that you would offer a client you're working with?
Yes. A big first step is to reevaluate and redefine what taking care of yourself and taking care of your body actually looks like for you. So many people think that I need to take care of myself means I need to eat clean, I need to be healthy, I need to over-exercise, I need to do all these things that are going to actually shrink and manage and decrease our size.
And can I just say, those people are no fun. They're not fun to go get nachos with. They are no fun at all.
No, and they're not having any fun either. So I'll tell you that much. No one is having fun in those circumstances. So when we think about taking care of ourselves, let's get out of thinking about how we can eat less and live less and exercise more. I want us to start thinking about how we can take care of ourselves in a more nourishing and nurturing way. How can I make sure that I'm feeding myself so that I have enough energy? How do I make sure that I'm getting outside and moving so that I can remember what the outside looks like, but touching some grass has a really good influence on your mental health? How can I make sure that I am resting? I'm going to doctor's appointments. I'm taking time off. There are so many ways to take care of ourselves and feed and nourish ourselves that have nothing to do with restriction, over-exercising, and critiquing our physical self. And I want to make sure that people know that. Taking care of yourself isn't just about changing your size.
I love that. Looking at a more holistic approach as to what it looks like to care for yourself. As you mentioned, resting, moving. What kind of movement feels good to you? If you don't want to go to CrossFit, you don't have to. If you like taking a walk on the Greenway, go for it, man. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Right? Making sure you're eating nourishing foods and not labeling foods as bad or good. Right? Don't you think that's part of it too?
It's huge because we have so many moral kind of labels that have been placed on food. I can't tell you how many conversations I have per day, per week, just trying to disentangle that in itself. All foods are good foods. All foods fit. We can eat all foods in moderation and in balance. And so spending so much time trying to only eat good foods sets yourself up for what we call kind of this restrict-binge cycle. You try to only eat good for so long, and then your body says, you know what? I'm tired of this. I need carbs. I need fats. I need sweets.
Yeah.
And then when we do have those foods, we tend to overindulge on those foods or overeat those foods. And then you end up feeling guilty and shameful, which drive you back towards the good, healthy foods. So we need to get out of this cycle and start to have a neutral way of engaging with food, is saying all this food fits. I can have all of these things in moderation, and then we don't have to go back and forth from under eating and overeating. Let's just have a neutral, consistent relationship with food. Trust me, you are going to feel so much better. Those headaches you have, the insomnia you're struggling with, like all of that is going to be solved by consistent, balanced nutrition that includes carbohydrates, yes, in addition to all those proteins.
Amen, sister. I love carbohydrates. Oh, I love them. Carleen, do you love them too? We love them. We love them. Love the bread. Love the pasta. I love it all.
Love it all.
Chips, yeah, me too. Okay, we're going to take a break. When Wake Up to Your Life returns, we'll talk with Ashley Moser more about ways you can really get out of that cycle and make peace with your body once and for all. All right, just finishing up my baguette there, along with a side of crackers. This is a true story, Ashley. One time, and Carleen, this is a true story. I was at Panera, and you know how you get a side of either chips or an apple or bread? So I had a sandwich, and they're like, would you like bread with your sandwich? I was like, yeah, I'll have a side of bread with my bread.
With my sandwich? Absolutely.
I was currently carb loading at the time is what was happening. But okay, so Ashley, we were talking about ways to get out of the cycle. You mentioned, looking at the way you treat your body and yourself more holistically, giving your body the things it needs. What would you say about the comparison piece? We know that we all do it. You're scrolling on social media and you see so-and-so's been on a GLP-1 and she's dropped 40 pounds and oh my God, she looks amazing. I feel terrible about myself now. Yeah. What advice do you have there?
It's the old adage, but it remains true. Comparison is the thief of joy, right? Spending so much time comparing your life, your body, your happiness to another person's is a great way to rob you from the good feelings you get about who you are and how you live. So when I see clients, talk to clients, and I think I even had this conversation earlier today about pictures and comparison, the most important thing that I talk about is what it is like to have that feeling. The feeling that you get when you look at someone else and you go, ugh, I wish I looked that way. Ugh, I wish I felt that way. And instead of letting that feeling drive you towards changing yourself, what if you just sat in it? What if you just said, you know what? I feel like I don't measure up right now, and that's a hard feeling for me to have. What I watch a lot of people do is they skip this step. They go from comparison to body change. And I'm telling you, changing your body isn't going to make you feel better about comparison, because guess what? There's always someone who's going to be thinner, has the life that you want, the job that you want, the hairstyle you want. There's always someone out there to compare to. What we have to do is get comfortable with what it feels like when we feel like we don't measure up. And instead of rushing that feeling away and driving ourselves towards doing something different, what would it be like to just say, this is how I feel and it doesn't feel great? And then continue on with our day and move with that feeling present instead of trying to fuel it into some sort of change within ourselves. We don't have to change to make our feelings go away, but we do need to acknowledge them. And those exist everywhere. We're not going to measure up every single circumstance that we compare ourselves to. So let's get comfortable with it. Let's get used to it. It's okay.
That was worth the price of admission right there, what you just said. Because I think you're right. People skip that step of, ooh, man, I'm feeling something right now. I'm feeling jealous. Name it. Or I feel like I don't feel like I'm enough. Yes. I don't feel like I measure up. I'm feeling really bad about myself. And stop and camp out there. And we're scared to camp out there, like it's going to overtake us. But the opposite happens. If you feel it, you can then release it. And everything's changing all the time anyway, right? Your thoughts, your feelings, they're like the weather. They're like just ask Brad Panovich, right? And they're just changing, and they're like weather clouds that come and go. That's what it is. So if you can sit there, I actually do this practice. I'm sure you're not surprised to know that I do this, but if I notice that for myself, I go, whoa, and I slow it down. And I camp out there. I say, gosh, what is going on with me? Ooh, gosh, well, I put on my pants today and they were tight, and I started telling myself the story about how I've gotten so fat, how I've gained weight. Oh, I'm not going to look good this summer. And then I saw this person on Instagram, and man, she looked great in her bathing suit. And now I'm comparing myself to that. And I don't feel good. Oh, gosh, isn't that interesting? Whoa. And just sit there and notice, like as you said, I don't feel great about myself right now. And that's okay. Don't be so quick to try to change it.
Exactly.
Camp out in it.
I love that. slow down, camp out.
Yeah. Slow down and camp out, get comfortable with it, and you'll find that you think that it's going to swallow you up, but the opposite is what happens. Sometimes I even try to have a sense of humor with myself about that, and after a while, after you camp out there, you can go, oh my God, look at what is happening in the world right now, and I'm worried about my jiggling arms. Give me a, not to shame myself, but to say, like, come on, there are a lot of bigger things. Get out of yourself and look at other people and pay attention to what is, what's going on around you.
Yes, because we can be very distracted and preoccupied with ourselves sometimes, and in a way that, I don't know, sometimes it kind of functions well for us because there is a lot that goes on in the world. So sometimes it feels kind of nice to focus on something that you feel like you can control. But in reality, it doesn't do you a service. It doesn't help you get out in the world and make changes to make things better. It really does send you down a spiral, because once you start comparing, and if you skip the step and you just start trying to change yourself, it just feeds the comparison even more. Mm-hmm. The next time you open social media, you're going to do that comparison game over and over again. And so it's so important to stop, camp out, think about what's going on for me. And the other question I like to ask myself is, why is this so important right now? What's going on for me in my life that's making me really focus on this? Most of the time, it has very little to do with my actual body and has far more to do with something else that's going on. Sometimes it feels easier and better and more societally endorsed, honestly, to focus on our bodies than it is to focus on our mental health, than it is to focus on our physical health, than it is to focus on our relationships and our work lives and our happiness. Focusing on our bodies, I don't know, it becomes a real dumping ground for a lot of other things that have nothing to do with our bodies. So I like to slow down, camp out, and then I like to ask myself, ooh, what else could be going on here? What's going on for me? Why does this feel so important right now?
A great question. That's a great question to ask oneself if you notice you're really caught in that, to go like, what is this really about?
Yes.
I want to know what you think. And Carleen, you chime in on this too, because you're in a different age demo than I am, but this happens in groups of women my age, like going out with a group of friends or maybe acquaintances, and the body shaming conversation starts where it's like, God, you look so good. What do you do? I'm so fat. Oh, look at my knees. Look at my gut. Look at this. And this conversation about how we look, whether it's putting yourself down or really going in hard on compliments to someone else, and then next thing you know, each person is chiming in with their opinion. I find this conversation to be detrimental to the sisterhood. I also find it kind of boring.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And no win.
Mm-hmm. We're all want to be each other's compliments. You know what I mean? It feels that way. That's, if someone compliments you, then you have to reciprocate it. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just, it's kind of like one-upping,
Well, you know what?
You look great. Like, oh no, you look great. Look at your hair. It's one of those. Mm-hmm. I feel like in my opinion.
Can be performative, right?
Performative,
yes.
That's the word.
I don't actually feel this about you, or I'm not actually thinking about this, but since we're on the topic, I feel like I have to join in too. Because sometimes it feels like a great way to connect with other women is over body dissatisfaction or even body hate, which is crazy, right? Like we have a lot more important things to talk about. We have a lot more interesting things to talk about, but it can become this unifying force. Yeah. Instead of us getting together and talking about how we dislike our bodies, what would it be like to talk about the fact that we have those feelings and we're trying to figure out how to work our way out of it? Like, we can join together to talk about body image in a much more constructive and productive way. Mm-hmm. But I agree with you that there can sometimes be this performative nature of like, well, you said this, so now I'm going to say this. And it just, before you know it, you're having conversations that no one's actually really connected to. And at the end of the day, why are we here?
And you don't feel that heart connection. You feel less connected to these people as opposed to more connected. The thought that comes to my mind is when, if you're with a group of people and someone says, oh my God, Rachel, you look amazing. What are you doing? And everyone's now looking at Rachel, and then all these other chicks who are sitting here, no one said anything to me. Gosh, do I look disgusting? Do I look gross? Like, it just never leads to anything good. And remember, the size of your thighs is the least interesting thing about you. What if you got together with your friends and instead you were talking about your ideas or the next trip you're going to take or a goal that you want to reach? And what, to Ashley, what you just said, talk about, gosh, I've been feeling really insecure lately. Can we talk about ways we can untangle from some of these feelings and remember that we are bad mamma jammas, right? That's, to me, a more energizing, connecting conversation.
and even some of the underlying issues that are causing us to focus on our bodies, right? Like, what's really going on with you? Yes, we can talk about our bodies, we can talk about what we can see, but we have a lot of shared experience. Like, everyone's going through something challenging and hard right now. And I can't tell you, even the most like successful on paper, surrounded by community type people feel incredibly lonely right now. And I think it's because we're talking about these surface level topics instead of really connecting when we're around each other. Like, man, I've been feeling really insecure about this. My relationship has been really hard. I haven't been showing up as the best mom I want to. I'm in business, but is this really what I want to do for the rest of my life? Let's have those conversations. Those feel a lot more connecting, and really go after this profound loneliness that I see showing up everywhere. So just as much as I'm talking about body image on a daily, weekly basis, I'm talking a lot about loneliness too, and I can't help but think they're connected.
Oh, on that note, why don't we take a break and we'll finish this conversation on the other side of said break. Welcome back to Wake Up to Your Life. Ashley, right before the break, you were saying you can't help but wonder if loneliness is somehow connected to all of what we've been talking about. Can you say more about that?
Yes. I can say a lot more about that. But what I think I continue to notice is that I think we're focused on body image because I think we believe it will somehow make us more desirable, attractive, and bring more people into our lives. It's like this great belonging vehicle in some ways. Like, if I just look like I'm supposed to, if I just look like everyone else and I have the same body size as everyone else, maybe somehow more people will come into my life. I won't feel this profound sense of loneliness. So I see a lot of people trying to change their body, trying to change and shrink their lives to bring more people in, when in reality the opposite ends up happening, right? Because we talked about those people aren't super fun, right? Because they're super in their head, they're not going out, they're not doing stuff. And so we're trying to attract more people into our lives to deal with this loneliness that I think occurs as part of just like the human condition. But the way we're going about it by trying to change our physical selves to attract more people in actually builds a wall instead of like opens the floodgates. So I really encourage people not to try to connect with other people through their bodies, but to try to connect with them through having deep, vulnerable, authentic conversations.
God, that's so good. And imagine having the conversation of, yeah, I worry so much about my body that I almost didn't want to come and meet you tonight, right? Imagine the connection that's going to happen. And then that is bringing people into your life. People want to be, if there's not something wrong with you, I'm not interested. Like, I don't want to be your friend. I want you to be real and tell me the real stuff, right?
I agree. The messier you are on the surface, the easier it is for other people to come right in like a moth to a flame, right?
That's right.
I can be myself with you because you're not going to judge me. You're not going to think that I'm somehow less. The comparison game isn't going to be one we're going to play. I love a messy person because I can be my messy self too. And I think we just all have to live with that more at the forefront. And I know that's very different than what we have going on right now, especially with like social media and things like that. We're all showing up with these highlight reels. So the messy, real, vulnerable versions of ourselves are the ones that people are going to connect to, and honestly, again, are so much more important than the size pants you're wearing or, the exercise routine that you're currently connected to.
Totally. I mean, and think about that perfect woman who, how do we feel about her when she leaves? She didn't share anything about her real life. we don't like her, and then everyone starts talking about her when she leaves, which is not great either, right? We want to speak well of people when they leave the room, but that's if you come with that veneer, if you come with that facade, like, I've got it all together. My marriage is perfect. My kids are crushing it. My business is crushing it. And look at me. And, it's somehow you're just not relatable.
Exactly. Well, and honestly, I think those people are also struggling too, right? They're protecting themselves. Like, my mess is so messy, I can't show other people, right? So that veneer, that perfect idealized version of who you think you need to be, it's really somebody's armor. It's really somebody trying to protect themselves because being messy is too hard for them based on their circumstances, their life, what they have going on, the messages that they got when they were 3 and 5 years old, the list goes on and on. So I think, right, our first instinct to see someone like that is to be like, oh, I'm not like that. I can't connect with them. Like, they're not my people. When in reality, you may just need to like warm them up a little bit. Like, don't crowd those people out. We want to make sure we bring them in and let them know, like, it's safe. You can bring your guard down. I'm safe. We can be messy together. This will be okay.
You're right. I was being a mean girl there because that's really what I believe too. I believe too because I know those people, right?
Yes.
I'm in contact with a lot of those people who look like they have it all together. But if you scratch beneath the surface, right, and you show them that you're a safe space by sharing an insecurity, a vulnerability, it lets them know that you're a safe place to open up, and then really be a safe place to open up. Don't go blah, 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 all their nonsense to other people. Like, if you want friendships like that and deep relationships and deep connections, then you have to honor that and be a good friend as well. Ashley Moser, we've got 1 minute left. Anything else you'd like to say? Leave people with a little message or where they can find you?
Yes, please come find me. I want to help people change their relationships with themselves and with their bodies, right? Like, how can our bodies just be bodies and not have to be about so many other things that we talked about today? So you can find me at nextstepscounselingandconsulting.com. I also work with the renfrewcenter.com, which focus specifically on body image and eating disorder issues, which everything we've talked about today can also manifest and be a part of eating disorders as well. So if you are struggling, please know that there is so much help out there. You are not alone. And don't be afraid to show your messy self. We're all messy, whether we got our guards up or not, and let's connect there.
DM me on Instagram, Margaritas and Nachos on me. Yours truly. Come on, let's go hang out and talk about our messes. I mean, I'm not even kidding, girls, shall we? Let's start something. We're starting a movement. Yes. I love it.
Messy margaritas.
Ooh, there it is.
Messy margaritas. Oh my God. Producer Colleen, you're the best. Thank you. Ashley Moser, you are a delight. You are wonderful. Thank you. And thanks to you for joining us for Wake Up to Your Life. Tell a friend, all right? Until next time, take care.